Hey, what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it. So we are now halfway through training camp for your LSU Tigers, and I really love a piece by Wilson Alexander that was posted a couple of hours ago. Again, guys, head over to theadvocate.com, NOLA.com, or pick up your paper and check this out. Wilson does excellent, excellent work. Also, very stylish and incredible hair.
He does have great hair.
Great hair. A-plus hair. Best hair in the beat reporter game, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So here are Wilson's main 10 takeaways. The defense will be more disruptive. And he goes on to say, look, yes, there needs to be more consistency. It's unclear as to maybe whether or not like potential big plays given up will eliminate whatever strides they've made. But if nothing else, they're going to go for it. They're creating a lot more pressure. They're blitzing a ton more. The defense has generated, just objectively, the defense has generated significantly more negative plays than it did last season. And I'll take that, Again, I believe in dictating, trying to seize the initiative. And if that comes with engaging in risk that is sometimes going to get you burned, well, guess what? It's better than last year where you were passive, being dictated to, and still getting burned, right? It's the old thing about, like, if you're going to make a mistake going 100 miles an hour. Make a mistake playing crazy. Pretty much every coach I ever played for, that was always kind of the mantra. Like, it's okay. No, you don't want to make the same mistake twice. But if you make it, make it going balls to the wall. And it sounds like that's going to be kind of the theme of this defense.
Last year had nothing that you could hang your hat on, right? It's not like, okay, man, they're going full speed. They're trying all this crazy exotic stuff. It's just not working. And, teams are really making them pay because of it. That's not the situation they had. You were on your heels. You still had missed assignments. You still had busted coverages. It was like three things that are supposed to be no-nos in a defensive meeting room. You did all three.
Yep.
So, yes, to all of that, take more chances, be more aggressive. Why do you have to do that? Because right now, there's a couple of positions that you're trying to figure out, okay? You're trying to figure out the defensive line. You're trying to figure out who is going to cover someone in the back end, okay? What makes it easier on a DB, right? A good pass rush. And so, we got some guys maybe that can get after the quarterback, but I know we can be creative and get after the quarterback with Whit Weeks and Hale Perkins and all these different guys that can really come from a lot of different places on the football field and create that, okay? And same thing like for the defensive line, right? If you create that pass rush, it is going to free up things for the guys that you're still kind of waiting on, and you're counting on them, but you're waiting on them to take that next step. And so you're going to get more one-on-one matchups inside if they have to worry about Perkins and Whit Weeks coming from all over the place. And if you get an edge rusher, right, if you get one of those guys to step up and they continue to grow from what they did a year ago, so all of that aggression, sure, you're going to probably get burned a couple of times because of it.
Yeah.
But as an offensive player, and you know this as well as I do, T, like if you're just lining up and you're showing me what you're going to be and you're not aggressive, that's easy. That's the easy stuff. I can plan around that. I can be the aggressor all day long. But if you're like when you used to play against Pittsburgh back when they had, when they were winning the Super Bowl in 2008, sure, they had Jimmys and Joes, but it was more terrifying because you had no idea what Troy Polamalu was going to do.
Yeah.
You had zero idea what Lamar Woodley and James Harrison were going to do on the edges. That's what made them so scary, is because they could take those chances. And sure, Troy would try to play a coverage from the A-gap, and he couldn't quite get there, and you'd get him for one. But that next time, he would fake you, drop back from the A-gap, and then rush the A-gap, and you've already gone into your route. He's hitting the quarterback, ball's out, they're going the other way. So I love hearing that. And, yes, it is a little bit risky, but if it's organized chaos, I think that bodes well for a defense.
Yes. Yeah, they want to muddy it up. Offense is like clean and clear pictures through which to operate.
It's easy.
Defense is more reactive. You want to make it muddy and dirty.
If you show a clean picture, and Flynn can tell us better when he gets here as well from a quarterback perspective, but if you show a clean picture, it doesn't matter what you're running. You could run literally anything, and I've got something that can beat it.
Yeah.
Because I know where you're going to be. Every coverage has a route concept that's going to beat it, every single one of them. Now, if you're disguising it, if you're finding a creative way to get to it.
Trying to learn them right now.
Exactly. Then, okay, I think I've got a coverage beater. I think I'm going to run a go on the outside, a post on the inside. I'm going to have the tight end go across kind of underneath. And, man, you can't beat that. Well, it's like, well, no, the defense showed you this, but they're actually going to that. You're going to throw it right into coverage.
So let's just stick with the defense here. Wilson saying the linebackers look like a strength. Harold Perkins is the defense's catalyst. He says he feels comfortable at weak side linebacker, and they got him rushing the passer in third down. He said get a little nasty, but they got a lot of depth there, right? Perkins, Greg Penn, Whit Weeks, Wes Weeks, they all deserve playing time. And as Weeks just told us, this is a defense made for linebackers to make plays. Offensively, Wilson's saying LSU clearly has its top 3 receivers, and it is Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton, and C.J. Daniels. Xavier Thomas will likely have a role, he says, but he's had that hamstring issue, while Aaron Anderson, Kyle Parker, and Shelton Sampson are trying to earn that playing time. So those are kind of the 3 that we expected, Jake, but it appears that they are now confirmed, and I like him as a group. All different body types, all different skill sets, a varied attack that you can engage with those 3 on the field. He says there's a gap after Garrett Nussmeier, and this is big here, because while I do feel good about the A.J. Swan pickup, because you're getting a guy who's very experienced and if nothing else, like won't be, if it indeed is the backup, but like he won't be overwhelmed by the situation. Garrett is clearly your best quarterback and needs to be protected at all costs.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It is good to have somebody that if he has to be thrown in there, no matter where you're playing in the SEC, that's not going to be new for him. That goes a long way. And when he was at Vanderbilt, there certainly was some good times. And so he can kind of steady the ship. And then you got to count on other guys. Maybe you change up the offense a little bit. Maybe you become more run heavy. You utilize your biggest strength, which is your offensive line. But having a quarterback that the moment wouldn't be too big for him, he could truly handle it and be a game manager. That's why you went and got a player that started in the SEC. And your most talented guys are young guys. And so, like, if that didn't work, then you'd have to go to something else. But just to have a stabilizing force if your guy went down, I think that was an important pickup. And, look, you've got more resources at that position coming, right? So the cupboard's not bare. And you got one now. Like, I mean, you've got young players now that are just young players. You've got a redshirt freshman and a true freshman and the other backups, and you're going to have the number 1 quarterback in the country come to campus here. So you still going to, stockpile talent.
You got a good pipeline. You have a very good room established going forward. Maybe just, this year you have a starter who's just clearly better, which is good. That's also a good place to be.
How old was Colin Hurley, Taylor, when he got here?
Like 14.
He was 16.
16 years old, T.
Yeah, I know.
16 years old.
It's crazy to think
about. Now,
about.
I know I went to Evangel, but I was a little bit older than that when I got here.
I remember Hurley reclassified up.
I turned 19 the day I graduated high school. Like my ceremony that day, I turned 19.
And he got to LSU at 16.
16 years old.
Ashton Stamps will start. Sophomore quarterbacks made multiple picks and pass breakups to get top receivers. Will he turn an all-SEC player? Who knows? But he's a top corner right now for a team that wants to play a lot more man coverage. So already we can see Corey Raymond's impact being felt. And this checks out. Every day it seems like you're coming in and reading about Ashton Stamps making a couple of big plays. Now, the coaches don't want him to rest on his laurels or think that he's, there already, right? Because they've been preaching the need for more consistency, but it's nice to hear about a cornerback having a pulse. Opposite of him, it's still unclear who that other corner will be. It's still Sage Ryan at this point.
Which I think we all agree that is not the best case scenario for LSU. It's good that you have the ability to use him there.
Yeah.
Because at times last year he did play well. But I don't believe, you don't believe, Taylor, like none of us believe that is the best case, because that means no one stepped up at corner, and that also means you take Sage away from the safety rotation.
Yeah, remember they trained him at safety in spring, and they said this preseason is about cross-training him. So does that mean that they too ideally want to move Jair Brown, P.J. Woodland, Javian Toviano, Zy Alexander, J.K. Johnson in there? It remains to be seen. I guess there is a world where Sage looks much better there under Corey Raymond. I mean, he did enter his name in the transfer portal, and Raymond and others must have convinced him to stay and sold him on a plan that appealed to him. So it's something to watch for going forward. The only problem is, as Wilson points out, it's still kind of not clear who would be that guy. P.J. Woodland and J.K. Johnson seem to be taking the most of those second-team reps, but it doesn't seem like anyone is really separated.
So if you move Sage to one of those starting corners, then you're going to have Gilbert at the free safety, and I would assume that means Jordan Allen would probably start at strong safety, and then
Where does that leave McBride?
So McBride, well, Spears now, I guess.
Yeah,
but
Deshaun Spears.
He's pushing for time.
Yeah,
my bad, Spears.
He's in that second group. He's pushing for time, but I think Jordan Gilbert, as far as safeties go, he's about as entrenched as anybody. He looks pretty good out there.
That's why you know him well. I mean, he went to school 2 miles from here, but also like you've seen him in the SEC at A&M. So, I mean, you felt good about bringing him in and what he could do and the experience. We talked about that at the quarterback position, having SEC experience. So you feel good about that. Jordan Allen's somebody that, I mean, played last year, very talented player. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him if he's a starting strong safety.
Yep. I agree. And but he seems like someone who's consistently been going with the ones as well. Savion Jones is playing really well, according to Wilson Alexander. Put together the best preseason in his career, winning more individual reps against those great tackles. Emory Jones was talking about his improved get-off.
Yeah.
And look, Savion Jones has always been really big. And 2 years ago, he flashed a lot. That was one of the more disappointing parts of last season was he kind of seemed to just get lost in the mix, whereas 2 years ago, you're like, oh, man, Savion Jones, like that's going to be maybe one of the next guys. So it seems like he's kind of regained that promise that he was showing us a couple of seasons ago. Wilson says if Kamorian Pimpton is ready, then the tight ends can create matchup problems. And he's going to have to, because one of the more disappointing parts of this camp, I think, is losing Mac Markway. But if Pimpton can fulfill his kind of natural body and looking like pass catch potential, you got Trey'Dez Green, you got Mason Taylor, that's a very strong room. Of course, Wilson goes into the running game being more creative, a lot more counters. It seems like Horn Boss is back, Jake. Shotgun sweeps to the outside with your tackle pulling out there. So probably what was it, 38 and 39, not 48 and 49? Do you have enough people out of gun to run 48 and 49? Is there a fullback that could? Is there a pseudo fullback there? Maybe the tight end. I don't know.
Yeah, but you'd have to run it at 12 personnel.
Anyway, and then the last one here, the punters need to get better. It seems like Blake Oschendorf is going to be the guy. Peyton Todd just still can't find that consistency, and Oschendorf's proven on the college level. But still, both punters need to be better. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.